This whole experience of what's happening in Israel should highlight to us this message from the gospel, that what we sometimes don't see as valuable is valuable. And who is valuable? All life. See, we're created by God in goodness, love, and truth, and that means all life is good. And so even for the way we adhere to and value strangers, people from other lands, we know when their life is at stake, suddenly it's important. Each person is important, that all life is good. This way of the gospel, this parable that Jesus says this morning, is very harsh about the treatment of the vineyard owner's son who comes and the way they're treated. But I particularly like the way that Jesus ends the parable, that what will be thought given to those who don't value something will be taken away. And isn't that our human nature? That sometimes we don't think something is valuable until someone else wants it or it is to be taken away. That we can live in a life kind of not living fully and not recognizing the gifts that we have or the real joy and gifts that others are in our life until what? Until they're taken away or something is taken away from us. I grew up in an era of the church, like many of you, where there was always fundraisers at the church. Where I grew up in Virginia, the bishop used to say, if you can't say this word without saying saint before it, and maybe you might have that experience, we were not allowed to say bingo without saying Saint Bingo. Bishop Sullivan said Saint Bingo has built more churches in Virginia than any other saint. And so we were always to refer to Saint Bingo, that fundraiser. My mom was always a big proponent of buying raffle tickets, and being of Christian Catholic faith, there was always something being raffled off in our parish growing up. And my mother, being that English Irish, like Father Wally's mother, was always a little superstitious. So it was always, who was going to buy the raffle ticket from our family? If it was your birthday, you buy the ticket. She would give you the money, but anything to be luckier, to win a raffle. Like many of you in your experience of life, we didn't win many raffles, except for one that I remember specifically. And I was little, about 6 or 7, and there was a raffle at the church. The prize had come from some of our Asian members of the church, and we put our raffle tickets in. I think they were $2 a ticket, and we won. We came to church the next weekend and we won. And we won something that our young people might have to Google when they get home. We won a rickshaw. Wow. And it was an amazing thing, a rickshaw. So me and my 3 brothers, now 4 boys with a rickshaw. And it was fun. And we got the rickshaw. And I remember my brothers putting me in it and bouncing around, and we would go around the block this way, and then we tried it backwards. That doesn't work really well. It flips over easily going backwards. We enjoyed the rickshaw. I remember some memories of that with my brothers. But then, like all things in life, when we're not really attentive, it just went away. We got older and grew up. And we never knew what really happened to the rickshaw, never considered it, never thought about it. My parents, for one, when you grew up and went off to college and started to becoming hopefully independent, that every time you left, they remodeled your room to be a guest room for their friends. And so your things were to be right. You're going to be independent and take your stuff with you was always a part of our growing up. You were allowed to keep some things in the attic. And so I remember when I was about 35, and we were home for Thanksgiving with my brothers, and my mom said, why don't y'all, while you're all here, go up in the attic and get some of your boxes that are still up there? Because your father and I are trying to clean the house up. We've been here so long, and it's full of stuff. And take your stuff. You're a grown-up now. See what the wish of parents. The truth is we never grow up, do we? We still lean on our parents. And we should always value that. My brothers and I went after dinner up into the attic, and it's there we found the rickshaw. It had been disassembled. So we saw the wheels and the axle, and there it was upstairs. We brought it down. We brought a couple of our boxes. We still left stuff you tied to home, right? We brought the rickshaw down, and me and my three brothers put it together. And we were young again. We got in the rickshaw. It's a big thing, a rickshaw. No wonder my parents wanted it gone. It's in the way when you put it all together. Suddenly, this thing we had forgotten about, that we didn't value anymore, was alive and with us. And my brother Brian says, "I'll take it home." And the other three brothers said, "No, we want it." And we proceeded to fight over a rickshaw we had forgotten about for over a decade. Isn't that our human nature? That the value of it had escaped us, but as soon as someone else wanted to take it, or it wasn't going to be ours personally, then we saw a value in it. I remember my mother saying, the sad thing is not about you fighting, it's about losing the value of what it was, those memories of when you were young and first played with it, that y'all had forgotten that. This month of October for the church is always pro-life month, where we proclaim the value of every life from the youngest to the oldest, that we might see something that sometimes it doesn't seem possible for us to want. But the truth is, if someone else wanted it, then we might see the value. Right now, my father is in the last stages of his life. And at 95 and a half, I've had to fight for him in ways that I didn't think I would have to. Because it's true, when you start having certain diagnoses, people just want to put you in the attic. And it's hard. The value of life is so immense because of the possibility of the goodness of each one of us. Now, when we say we're pro-life, as a people, as a church, we're not to be harsh about that. On Friday night, I was at the Birthright Gala with many of our parishioners that support that organization so well, and the speaker said something that was really, I think, helpful. That in the life of promoting goodness and helping others, we need to be people of accompaniment. That people facing harsh decisions and frightening times need to know that someone else values them and walks with them. That we don't change any hearts by hollering through a bullhorn. That we need to be people of softness. You know, I still miss my mom. My mom was harsh and kind of straightforward with us children. But don't moms always have a softness? I still want to sit in her lap 10 years after she's passed. We should always be that part of the people of God and faith that are soft and helpful and accompanying. And that's a great gift to anyone who's in fear of making a decision. What we think always of what's valuable changes by our own perception and emotions. We are all guilty of not valuing really important things at different times in our life. But together, as a people of God and goodness, we can help one another with that and to be strong in it. This month of October is a time for us to to stand up and say, all life is good. And all life is going to need some help. And all life has a value that we need to renew ourselves in to see. Jesus is always asking us to be young again. In this community, we have so many young families and children, and we can see that beauty and joy. If in your family and circle of friends, you've ever been touched and still have pain from the loss of a newborn, of an elderly member, know that we're here for you. We support the Rachel Project. There's post-abortion healing retreats that we work with. There's resources we have, and we have ears to listen and feet to walk with you. So come. Jesus wants us to what? Value our own life, which means to overcome our struggles and pain so that we might live and live fully. What we value, sometimes we overlook and need to return to. I want to tell you about that rickshaw. If you're ever in Macon, North Carolina, that's right by Lake Gaston, and you see an old rickshaw with some young people playing, those would be my nephews, because my brother Brian got the rickshaw. He won the fight. But in that process, we were all reminded to be honest and true, and to look into our hearts to know what's valuable. And what's valuable is each other, all of us, each one. Amen.